Hello everybody, I'm Gerald, and it's finally time to bring you another breakdown. I know this is like the first breakdown for 2017. It's really been a long time since I've really sat down and talked to you guys about music. This time around we're going to be talking about Pentatonix's brand new arrangement of John Lennon's Imagine. There's a lot of statements that are made in the song, and really they unite with Pentatonix's brand, and they really send a great message. This isn't my favorite Pentatonix arrangement. However, I do think that the reason why it speaks so well is because it's simple and because it's not too topsy-turvy, but there is some topsy-turvy stuff that's going on, and we're gonna get into it. There are 5 points, as usual, that I want to talk about that really make this arrangement strong. So let's get into that music. Number 1, Avi's voice juxtaposed to the arrangement that is done around him. Avi's classical background has given him a voice that when he's singing more solo stuff, he has a vibrato that's very narrow and very focused. It's not wavering at all. Not that everyone else's is, but it's just a very pleasant sound to hear. His voice is very smooth. There isn't any roughness to it, which really makes his voice a great intro, along with the arrangement that's around him, because the arrangement around him is kind of tailored to the fact that he's not singing bass. So you have Scott that's singing a little bit of a bass line, but because his voice doesn't really live in the bass range, you still get a little bit of a thinness and a narrowness. And everyone, Mitch, Kirsty, and Kevin as well, who I will get to later, are singing in a very closed form. And then Kevin actually does this really nice falsetto line that really brings in a nice color. It's a really good intro for the song. Number 2, I love Mitch's note choice when he does his runs, because there are so many things that he could do that he chooses not to do. For example, at the end of his verse, "Live for the world," he does that run, and instead of doing the yoo-hoo, and of course he does it the octave above, which is just totally masterful on his part as a countertenor. I really love the fact that he chose to do a rundown instead of just doing the show-offy thing to actually do the note. In fact, it doesn't really belong, and I know that he sensed that, and that's why he actually did that run. Not to mention the other twists and turns that he does with his voice while singing his verse. He's very, very sensitive in his singing. Even in the way that he pushes and he pulls, I think that he's a really sensitive singer, and that really makes a great performance, even for where he is in the arrangement. Number 3, I love me a good harmonic rub, and I'm talking about all of these suspensions that happen all over Pentatonix's arrangements. It gives a feel of tension and release. You get a lot of color with the extra notes that they bring in. Specifically in that second chorus, we got Kirsty that sets up that very nice grand, I guess that grand ending leading into Kevin's take on the chorus. And then Scott comes in, and then Avi, and then you got Mitch and Kevin, and then Kevin. Some really good stuff. There's all of these rubs. Yeah, really good. All of these rubs that come together really make for that tension, so that when Kevin finally comes in for his take on the chorus, it's a lot more of a release. And a note on Kevin singing that final chorus, I really feel like it was a great choice, because Kevin, as the most inexperienced singer out of the 5 of them, he has this very innocent tone. It's very simple. There's nothing extravagant about it. Not that he's a bad singer, he's singing in pitch, but it's just that because he's inexperienced, it gives like this childlike tone. And when you have that childlike innocence in a world where you have presidents and you have racism and you have different things that are going on, you have the innocence of a child that really brings it home to make it feel like, okay, let's all be like children. Let's all welcome one another. And I think that's the premise that they were really going for in choosing to do this cover right now. I've always been very, very fascinated with the dynamic of Pentatonix. You got different races. He actually really built on the differences. They showed you what their differences are, but regardless of their differences, they are able to work together and sing together. Ultimately, their premise isn't to give you a right or a wrong, but to just say, you know, can we all just honor the fact that we're all human, because they held up human at the end. That in itself is what really will be the make or break in our society, in us truly being able to live with one another. In a Facebook generation where we're able to unfriend or unfollow a person that has views that are different from us, we tend to live in our own very encapsulated bubble, whether it be in our communities, like whether it be our churches, whether it be, I guess, our clubs at school. We tend to live in somewhat of a social bubble, and I think that in order for us to truly live with one another, we have to really look at even what Pentatonix highlighted, the fact that we're all human, the fact that even though we have different differences, it doesn't mean that we have to kill one another, that we have to put down one another. We are able to truly coexist with one another, and I love that Pentatonix chose Imagine, and that they decided to really play on their strengths, which is not just their singing and the fact that they're an a cappella group, but also the fact that they all come from different walks of life, and they're able to even work together to make great music. And I think that's really a testimony to what we need in the world. If you really enjoyed this video and you loved my take, I would encourage you to subscribe to this channel, and I really will look forward to getting to know you. Watch my other videos and stay a while. I'm O'Neal Gerald, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye everyone.